All right, today we're tackling one of my absolute favorites, a real mind-bender. Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island. We're going to unravel the dark, twisting corridors of this psychological thriller, a film that's just as complex as it is completely haunting. So, let me ask you this. What if your entire reality was a lie? I mean, really think about that. It's such a terrifying question, and it's right at the heart of this entire story. It's the hook that grabs you from the very first scene, and believe me, it does not let go until that final, devastating frame. It's designed to make you question absolutely everything. So let's start at the beginning. Our journey kicks off just like a classic detective story, right? We've got this impossible case on a super remote, incredibly creepy island. So in walks U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels, and he's got his new partner, Chuck Ohl, with him. Their mission sounds straightforward enough. Find a patient who's somehow vanished from a locked room. Oh, and did I mention this is a hospital for the criminally insane? Yeah. But from the second they step onto Shutter Island, you just get this feeling something is seriously wrong here. Nothing is what it seems. Okay, this is where the walls really start to close in. What started out as, a pretty standard investigation, well, it spirals into this crazy web of suspicion and paranoia. It's like the island itself and everyone on it is deliberately trying to mess with Teddy, to block him at every turn. Every lead he follows just goes nowhere. The doctors, totally uncooperative. The patients, they're talking in riddles. And the guards are just on edge, super hostile. And as if that's not enough, Teddy's own mind starts to turn on him. He's getting these crippling migraines and these haunting visions of his dead wife, Dolores. And these aren't just simple flashbacks. It's like his wife, Dolores, is this ghostly figure in his head, warning him, telling him something is seriously wrong and that he has to get off the island. So his own personal trauma and this case, they're starting to blend together in this really dangerous way, and his paranoia is just skyrocketing. And then we get the big reveal. Teddy isn't just here for some missing patient named Rachel Solando. Nope, he has a secret mission. He's hunting for a man named Andrew Laeddis. This is the guy, the arsonist, that Teddy believes killed his wife, and he's convinced Laeddis is a patient hidden somewhere on this island. All right, part 3. This is where Teddy's investigation, and maybe Teddy himself, just goes completely off the rails. Every door is slammed in his face, and his suspicion just explodes into this massive conspiracy theory. That line between being an investigator and, well, being a madman, it's getting really, really blurry. And this is the question, right? For him and for us watching. Is Teddy being gaslit on an epic scale, or is he just losing his mind? He's convinced this whole hospital is a front for some kind of illegal government experiments, and that everyone, even his own partner Chuck, is in on it. But is that what's really happening? Or is this a reality that's all in his head? And then he gets what looks like a major breakthrough. Hiding out in this dark cave, he finds a woman who claims she's the real Rachel Solando, and she confirms all of his worst fears. She tells him, yes, they're drugging you. They're messing with your head. They're trying to make you a patient here so you can never leave. For Teddy, this is it. This is the proof. The puzzle is solved. Okay, get ready, because just when Teddy, and probably you, thinks he's got it all figured out, this story pulls the rug right out from under us. This is the big one. It all comes down to a confrontation in that creepy lighthouse. So what if the conspiracy isn't real? What if it's all in his head? This is the moment everything flips. The whole investigation into the island, it suddenly becomes an investigation into Teddy himself. Everything you thought you knew is about to just shatter. And here it is, the absolute gut punch of a twist. Teddy Daniels isn't real. He's a complete fabrication. The man we've been following this whole time, his name is Andrew Laeddis, and he's patient 67. He's not on Shutter Island to hunt his wife's killer, because he is his wife's killer. So here's the horrifying truth. Andrew's wife, Dolores, she was suffering from a severe mental illness, and she drowned their 3 children. In a moment of absolute unimaginable grief and rage, Andrew killed her. The trauma from that was so profound, so unbearable, that his mind just broke. It created this entire fantasy, this whole new person, Teddy Daniels, the hero U.S. Marshal. So he wouldn't have to be Andrew Laeddis, the man who lost everything and did the unthinkable. And what about his partner, Chuck? The guy who was with him the whole time. He was never a marshal. That was Dr. Sheehan, Andrew's primary psychiatrist. He was playing the part of Chuck as part of this incredibly elaborate role play, a last-ditch effort to try and pull Andrew back from his delusion. You see, this whole thing, the missing patient, the investigation, it was all a massive, radical form of therapy. The doctors designed the whole narrative. Every uncooperative staff member, every cryptic clue, it was all part of the show. It was a carefully constructed path of breadcrumbs, all designed to lead Andrew back to himself, to force him to confront his own trauma. It was their last desperate hope to save him from a lobotomy. So, the truth is out. And for a moment, it looks like it worked. Andrew seems to accept it. But the story isn't over. Not quite. There's one final haunting choice left to be made. The next morning, everything seems to fall apart. Andrew is sitting there with Dr. Sheehan, and he calls him Chuck. He starts talking about the investigation again, about how they need to get off this rock. You see the doctors watching, and they just look completely defeated. It seems like the breakthrough didn't hold. The experiment failed. Or did it? Because just before they lead him away, Andrew turns to Dr. Sheehan, the man he just called Chuck, and he asks him this one chilling question. Which would be worse, to live as a monster or to die as a good man? And with that single line, everything changes. The entire ending is flipped on its head. See, he hasn't relapsed at all. He remembers everything. He's lucid, and that's the tragedy. The reality of what he did, the memory of his wife and his children, it's a truth that is just too monstrous for him to live with. So he pretends. He plays the part of Teddy Daniels one last time. And in doing so, he consciously chooses the lobotomy. He'd rather die as the good man, the hero he invented, than live as the monster he truly is. So what are the big takeaways here? Well, first, Shutter Island is just a masterclass in showing the terrifying power of denial, how far the human mind will go to protect itself from unbearable pain. It also makes you question the very nature of identity. Is it something real and fixed, or is it just a story we tell ourselves? And at its core, it's a devastating look at the weight of trauma and how guilt and grief can literally force someone to choose a comfortable lie over a horrifying truth. And that's really the question the film leaves you chewing on, isn't it? How far will the mind go to protect itself from a truth it simply cannot bear? It's a chilling thought, and it's one that sticks with you long after the credits roll. It kind of makes you wonder, what stories do we all tell ourselves just to get by? Thanks so much for tuning in.